Okay, I think we're getting there. Let's see. How we doing? Alright, I need to click a whole bunch of buttons. Hang on. This is the hang on part. While I had to click way too many things over here and too many websites. Okay. Good. That's all working in. Looking good. Okay. Because I can also see my stream health is healthy. Great. Okay. Stream health is excellent. Alright. Okay. So I need to take a bit. Okay. I think we're ready to roll. Let's see if I can get that there and boop. There we go. See. There we go. Okay. Chat's going, sorta, and then things going. Okay. Welcome. Hi guys. Hi Star and Cookie. Is that it? That's it for now. Okay. We'll see where we get from there. And get back out there. There we go. Alright, so last time we got most of the assets in, so I got all the parts in, like we got the, that doesn't make sense yet. I think for this stream we'll try to make sure that anything here will make more sense. Scootaloo is gonna be fun to figure out how to animate. Which is already pretty much animated already. We just have to, like, have our wings, very small wings, flap. So we'll just have to figure out what exactly action she should do. I think we wanted her, if I remember, she's gotta throw a newspaper so we can. I was thinking of having her have a bag too, or it could just be that she just zoops across and that be it. Just having her might be the joke. We'll see where we go from there. But how we doing now? Just late on Thursday. Ah, okay. That's fine. I mean, I was almost late today too, though, in a weird way. Where like, I was working on a project commission thing for another YouTuber, and they were like, every day I would send another like progress report and saying like, hey, I did this. What do you think about this? And they would come back and say like, well, have some corrections. So, just been more extended, I guess, than of a project than I expected. Just because the commissioner has a very specific vision in mind, kind of like how I do with my stuff too. Where I usually have something very, because I usually think in pictures, so it's like, or like when I'm giving like instructions to people, and then it's like, yeah, I'm able to just like figure out what exactly I want immediately without thinking if it actually makes sense, you know, in context of it. You can catch the line of paper that Derpy throws. Ooh, okay. That's gonna be, I don't want to say tricky, but it's like, yeah, I feel like it might be. Okay. Have a scenario of whether like Derpy sees Scootaloo. I should blink. Okay. So Derpy will see Scootaloo drive down, and then Derpy will throw the letter at her, and then she'll like catch it like in the air or something. Maybe something like that. And then she can like zoom off. So then it'll be less of her being a newsy and just like being really cool and catching the letter. Something like that maybe. I feel like my chat, I have like 3 screens, so I was like, it's not really sync too well. This one syncs up before that one. You come and send a letter her way. Super cute and cool. Alright, cool. And hopefully that'll make it easy to have less what's it called, continuity. Because I feel like what we got now is that we'll have to have at the end is the problem that she'll right here supposed to throw the letter onto I think we said the doormat. Trying to get over. So she'll throw the letter at the doormat, and then it'll stay on the doormat. But this is the end of the loop, so we have to make sure that where the letter lands will have to be in the same spot as frame 1, and then she'll travel there. So minor thing there that obviously is only going to be up to me to actually figure this out. So I think we can. Once we got all that good, figuring out the story for Scootaloo really helped, so I can figure this rest of this stuff out. So then we're gonna travel, and then she'll throw. So the first thing she actually does is, let's see. Not sure what the difference between these 2 points is now. Oh dear. Like, what I have a key, there's nothing difference between this keyframe. But let me just wait, and then Colgate appears. So we have to get Colgate to be flying along here. So okay, we can do that first. So almost the easiest would be to just have it be here, and then we just put her right about where she was, and then tween it, and then continuously see if it almost creates a nice parallax. Let me hide the illusion for you. And then okay, let's move her down and over, but not too much because that was actually pretty good what we had. Okay, 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 okay. So it's just a lot of like fiddling around to see if this will work. Okay. It's hard to see, but like I'm able to see like it's subtly like moving quicker than it probably should be. Which I'm also learning that she's gonna still exist here. So we need her to get off the frame, which is gonna be like that. But the house is there, so we'll have to either this won't work. I was honest here about game boards. Yes. I watched the game boards. Not like, I think I try as much as I can to watch them. It's kind of like the guilty pleasure of like watching E3 to go like, haha, that was cringy and stuff. So it's like I didn't really, you know, watch it for really what it's really for. So I feel like it's just it's all commercial. It's not really. Whee! There she goes. I don't really find it to be in-universe, you know, fun or anything. It's just kind of the buy our game that, did you know that happened this year? Ooh, you know, so I don't really follow too much of that or anything else really. I kind of want to also kind of organically shift this into why I don't like making predictions for stuff. Like I'm seeing like a bunch of people like saying like a bunch of Smash characters, which it's fair to speculate and stuff, but it's like it's just kind of becomes like too much of a making yourself be disappointed if it doesn't happen, and it's like, why would you do that? Where it's like, why would you allow yourself to be so hyped up for something that's, if it doesn't happen, then you're gonna be upset about it. So it's like, well, why would you you know, some of the things happened, like Banjo-Kazooie, like that was somehow happened just to make sure that all the Western people were happy, because obviously it's not really super popular in Japan, but like I think the Castlevania and like a whole bunch of other ones were like made specifically really to more cater for like different types of people. So it's like it's really hard to say like what's really going to be. Even then, it's like we don't exactly know. Do we know for sure of whether a character reveal is even coming? That's all the issue too, where it's like it's not really actually guaranteed for that to actually happen either, where or not there'll be some kind of a character reveal or not. So even this whole concept itself, it might not even happen. So it's like, why are we allowing ourselves to be hyped up enough about this whole thing in the first place? So I never really get into like those big hype of like predictive stuff, even if it's like a leak. It's like I tend to just be like, I want to be spoiler free, so I try to avoid as much as I can too much, especially with movies and stuff. Like I know it's impossible to not get spoiled, but I somehow survived watching the Thanos movie, two movies since like almost like a year or 2 years afterward. Well, I guess I watched the part 2 this year, so if it came out, when did Purple Gauntlet Man movie part 2 come out? I don't even know. So I think I got Colgate in a good place now. Should be like right us up alongside that window. So I just need her to be off screen, so then this loop will work. So that works. Okay. But otherwise, we can get Derpy to be set up. So right about here, we can animate her to look up, and then we'll get the body. Whoop. Like having the eyes go a little bit faster than the body. Like you're gonna be looking at something before you move your head, so I'll make sure that stuff like that happens. I'm just used to doing this animation anyway, so it's not really maybe too much of a whoop. Where's the blink? Okay. Well, I also missed. Looking forward to Half-Life Alex. But apparently it's not going to be there anymore. Oh man. I think my first experience with Half-Life was the sequel, and it was like I somehow got a demo. I don't really remember how I got that, but I guess it's a demo, so it's not really, whoa, you got a demo. It was like it must have been like either that subway station area or like it must have been like the first chapter, I think. That was probably like a teenager somewhere. And then like you get into like this house and it has like all the zombie characters where it's like they had the haunted house place where it was like they're infected by these goopy things that had little feelers and stuff on them, and I was like, nope. I might have been interested, but then they added the zombies and I actually got scared and I didn't want to play anymore, even though it was just a demo and I felt okay that I was like, I'm not going to play this anymore. Thank you. And it felt kind of cool that I didn't have to pay for that in a way where it just like, just kind of just happened, you know, it's just kind of, didn't have to stretch anything to get that. So, yeah. So I got scared by that and I didn't want to play it. So for this VR Half-Life experience, I'm not exactly too hyped, excited for that. I would be more. I don't know what I would be. Maybe like a Portal, but I think they probably looked at that and said like, "You're gonna get sick if you watch Portal in VR." So glad they make that. They looked into it at least to say like, yeah, that's gonna be too much for you. So, yeah. Yeah, it can be pretty spoopy. I think it was a jump scare in there too, where it's like you're supposed to like take a big saw blade out of a door or something if you're like on physics thing, and then like a zombie comes out and says ooga booga, and I was like no. So I feel like I'm a wimp where I like colorful, you know, kid-ish related stuff. So like it'd be interesting to play a horror game, but also at the same time I feel like I would actually probably get like some kind of a heart attack or some kind of bad time would go on. So I would like to not have that happen. So now let's get context. So whoop. Well, she'll get the letter and then you just gotta draw it. Let's see. Yeah, I love Portal. That was one of my first games that I actually like feel like I completed. Just because it was so short. That doesn't make it any less of a great game. So when Portal 2 came out, well, I think actually I got Portal 2 first, and then I was like, I always played the original, and then I played the original, and I was like, oh, this is lame compared to Portal 2, where it's like, everything's much better. So let's get that. I think like when I was a teenager, like I ranked Portal 2 as probably like one of my favorite games past like Nintendo games. So I was like, that's a pretty good indicator for that. I had really fun with that. Because it wasn't like too spooky of a game where it just kind of just much more cerebral and just having fun with that, with all the funny voices. They were funny. How do you draw things? So actually, let's redo what we got here and start over. So whoop whoop whoop. Let's get this into that position that we had before, where we have it up, and then up, and then it releases, and this will be straight, and then that, and then that. So, okay, so that almost works. I think it's this one. Do a weird pose. So I gotta make sure I'm knowing what I'm doing. Okay. Okay. Portal. Portal 1's better. As a more contained experience, I would agree. But I feel like Portal 2 has more going on with it, that it makes it feel more of a complete experience. That's always important. But I agree that the some of the decisions in Portal 2 weren't the greatest. I really didn't like the gels. I think they were just too almost gimmicky. I don't really want to say it like that, but it's like it felt like it was too much of a where it was like, let's just throw whatever we got at the table and say like, oh, do you have an idea? And it's like, yeah. How about a goop that makes you jump or go fast? And it was like, I didn't really find that as interesting. So I agree with that. Where Portal 1 was just the fundamentals, like a tech demo, essentially what a portal can do. So let's see. Whoop, bah. Okay, this is going pretty good. We'll have to do a lot more with this. And then let's see. Yeah. So I guess I'm glad that I don't really have any kind of VR system really to, if I needed to do the Alex, is that how you're supposed to say it? Like the Alex game? I feel like I would be safe that I don't have any of those. The only VR thing that I had was the Gear VR, which was for Samsung phones. Like it was specifically made for like only for Samsung phones. So at the time I had a Note 5, which was my first smartphone that I had. So it was like cool experience of like, wow, VR is cool. And I just recently, last week, got a Samsung 10E, so that's the budget one. And I learned that the Gear VR system that I have will not work. It doesn't actually connect. It's a B connector, and then the new phone has a C, so it doesn't fit. So I'm not sure what to use that. What to use for that now. So problem is that the Gear VR is now just literally a hunk of plastic because it has no computers in it. So you can't just use it as a standalone thing. So it makes that a little depressing. That it's like, well, now this $100 plastic thing can't use anymore. So all those experiences and my Minecraft VR, I think was like $7 or $10 is wasted. I had fun of it, but it's like, yeah, oh man, trying to play actual like sit down, moving around games where I sit down, but then the character moves around in VR. It was disorienting. I think the first time I used Minecraft VR, I did get a little motion sickness and upset stomach, and it didn't really work out with all of that. So if I had to, I haven't had like a full like motion like I've only really used like the Vive like as a, ironically, in Tokyo. They had a VR center where like you can play a bunch of, they were all sponsored by like one company. I forgot who it was. Namco Bandai? Because they had the Mario Kart. That's why we went there, because they had VR Mario Kart, and I was like, we gotta go there. So that was really fun. Because like the rush of like playing a kart game, where like you are like sitting down in a go-kart, and then so like your physicality of being sitting down, and then like in VR you're still in a cart and you're just going ahead. That feels good. Like I didn't really feel get sick from that. So at least not as much. Just because it was really quick too, where it's just kind of over and done. That was really fun. That was the highlight of that. Where it was like they were able to connect like 4 carts together, and then you could like race and then see who can drive the best. So that was really fun. Trying to think of anything else. The other games there were like it was like a showcase kind of a room where it was practically like a whole building of like 2 or 3 stories. I think 2, but it was like a whole like building devoted to this VR experience. That's my pen. So I had like 8 or so games, but we only had like time and money to really get like maybe like 4 or 5 of them. So we had like pick and choose. It's like some of the more like obscure anime ones we didn't really go for. But there was one where it's like almost like a, best the way I can describe it, was like a Gundam kind of a style game, where there was a big robot mech and like you could like sit like either on, like the robot would have its like hand out, and then you like pretend that you're like grabbing onto its hand, and it would have like a physical like block, and you would try to hug it or something, and then you try to just like look around and see like from, you know, like a Transformers height. Kind of visual experience more so. Spark Card was probably the standout one though out of all of them, just because it was more of a complete like adventure, like here we go, and then it was like one lap or so, but it kept like transitioning into different levels. So it wasn't like, hey, it's the grass zone, you know, for the whole time. It was like 4 minutes of like different little tiny vignettes where it would change between like a typical Mario zone to changing into like, I think at one point it became like Bowser's kind of castle. So it was really fun. Yeah. I think they had it in as a tour in like DC or something. So I'm West Coast, so I never really bothered to try to track that down. I see how you guys doing now. Hello, legit. Back to Portal. Let's see. What was stocking stuff for opponents who are much bigger? Okay. Yeah, the Portal 1 was like a indie game almost, where it was by a bunch of like kids and they just had a fun idea. I played the original concept for Portal, and that was really fun. It was like a dark like dungeon crawler, almost like kind of roguelike is a gameplay thing, but it kind of felt like almost like a mystery dungeon kind of like place where it's like a volcano kind of area. It had a bunch of walls, like much more like getting away from combat than try to put a cube in a button kind of a thing. The bacular drop, yeah, that was really fun. When I was like really getting into Portal, was like that's really cool, and like trying to play the original version. So I had a lot of fun with that. Where it is. Or like how much different it really was from the Portal that we know. Because it was completely different with no bacular drop. I mean, I'm surprised that it even became a Portal game. Like just how different the bacular drop is compared to Portal, that you wouldn't even think. The only thing that really only carried over was the Portal aspect. So everything else was completely different. It's really fun to like look into and research if you want to have time with that. I haven't checked to see if the game demo is still available, but I think it probably should be somewhere. I'm just not sure. It was a little bit tricky to almost find out, but like it was also easier than I thought, I guess. As a kid, it's like, whoa, I can just play this game. Like that's magic. So really surprised with how that turned out, where I was able to get it. Play that. Yep. So we need to have the letter go up a little bit. Yeah, let's see. Boop, boop, boop. Here's you can, excuse me, forward VR. Yeah, the only like almost affordable one, if with just the actual like the Gear VR, seems to be the most. But I guess you can get, you know, the ones that like Fred Meyer, where it's like it's kind of the same kind of thing, where it's just only the goggle part where it doesn't have a computer inside it to actually do VR. It's just the holder in a way, and then you're supposed to still use your smartphone to use it. So obviously that's not for everyone, so it's like I can't really recommend that as a as anything really. So for like the use of like VR versus AR, I think AR will probably be more developed and more interesting. Because I think AR is much more practicality than VR. VR is more for like those kind of experiences where like you want to like escape to a different place more so. But AR is able to have much less boundaries where like it can be in the real world and then you just add something on top of it. So like if we need to be like an architect and it's like, well, I drew this little 3D mock-up or something of this building, you can go out to the street where it's going to be built and then AR put the building in scale and go, maybe the windows shouldn't be there, and then you can go back. So I feel like that's going to have more, AR is going to be like more practical, like job-related stuff to it than VR, I would feel, because VR seems to be more solo, like escape to a different world aspect, and like AR is going to be like much more realistic, you know, let's add things into the real world. So let's see, let's kind of move this back one, see how that works now. So boop, so it needs to be here almost. Let's go back one more peg. Boop. At least with like Pokemon Go and like games like that where like it's supposed to be taking place in the real world. I can't say world. World. Yeah, okay. Earth. I can't say that either. Okay. Where we live. I can't say woo. Woo. That's too quick now. Okay, so I gotta shoot me that back. I don't even know. Terra. Like terraforming? Is that what that is? Or like what's code for Earth then? Looks like these keys are off. So it should be here when things happen. Okay. That's where we get this from. Ah, okay. Clear. Keyframes. Boop. Okay, so we got boop, boop, boop. And then boop, 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 boop. Boop. We'll have to add like more to it, I think. Like more of an impact in a way. And have, I was gonna say Derpy. Colgate have more expression to it. And then we need it to start flying down. Yeah, like Pokemon Go like takes place on Earth in a way more so than the Pokemon world. So I feel like that's more of a better application to more so than VR, I guess. Like you can do Pokemon Go in VR, but like would you want to? That'll just be a completely different game of like, I feel like if it's just being in the Pokemon world, Terra more so than Pokemon Go feels more, it's more realistic to have it be like that. Probably why Pokemon Go is more popular, because it has direct relation to what's going on in the real era. Therefore means Earth forming. Terrestrial life is life on Earth. Etc. I don't know. Well, okay. TIL. Boop, boop, boop. Let's have the letter actually from here be layer inside of Colgate, so then I can just not have to worry about it being. It's actually going to be easier to do this than to have inside of Derpy. Go like that, so it's going to be whoop. And then boop. Now it's inside of Colgate's. Now go right through it. Yay! Ah, so close. Where does she disappear though? Why does she disappear? Why does she disappear? Why does it disappear? Oh, shorten. What? Should be from 1, right? Ah. Well, actual. We'll just have to have Colgate also exist in 2 places at once, I guess, just to have this work. Where we have her be in the same position. That's from here. This is where it's getting complicated. Where it's like, okay, we gotta like clone it to make sure that stuff like this works. That's the right one. Let's put that there. And then we put this here. And then now you're in the right place where we can stop you from 8 seconds. So 200. So we'll have you stuck at 200, and then we just go for another second, where then she'll be there, and then if we close that, so it'll be whoop off, and then she'll slide, and then she should be in the same spot, and then there we go. Okay, so that's what I mean, like we have to really figure out the loop, because that's why what we just did was that we had to have 2 versions of Colgate. So the way this works is that she'll have to exist here, but then immediately she'll show up again and then get hit. But then because we see her there, the letter exists there, so we have to swap it out with another one. So it doesn't really make sense with that, but hopefully if we render it, it should stay good. So I just got to make sure that Colgate animates the rest of her. So okay, yay. We're getting there. So this is only like part 1 of these gags, so maybe if we just get like this part done today, I'll feel good. So Rose Ball's 20 minutes until we finish for tonight. So okay, boop, boop, bop. So about here. We can have the blink not be here. So as a blink here, then we have it stay on frame 1. Sometimes having 2 things selected doesn't work. So we'll have that there, and then we'll have this change to upset mouth, which is so clear. And I forgot to get my image. There we go. Sorry about that. Bob. So from here, let's change these to be brow here. I do not have that. Okay. So I have to go in and draw these out. It shouldn't take too long because we're done with this one. See what I mean? Yeah. I think wrapping it back around with the conversation of like, I'm just not too keen on really knowing beforehand about things. Like if we knew like 90% of Smash Bros, which we pretty much do, you know, like with Brawl and then so like we knew a lot of the content in it, like with the dojo and like the directs and stuff. I feel like those kind of like get rid of the magic of like you open a game and like you don't know what's gonna happen. I feel like that's more fun than knowing like practically everything about the game, and then how do you really feel excited about anything else? Like the only thing that's gonna then make you excited is new content. So I just never really get into that, so it's like I just want to try to be as spoiler free as possible so I could just get the game and then go, wow, this happened, like I wasn't expecting that. Then if I knew about it, I wouldn't have that kind of reaction. So like my parents would not follow like every direct, so like it's fair that they can have more fun if it feels like they're having more fun, just like being surprised by stuff, more so than like me who would know offhandedly stuff from all these different leaks and information stuff. So I kind of feel jealous when people you know would be surprised by things, because I feel like that's slowly dying form. Like we know too much about things, like we know how things are being done, that it's not as fun, like there's no surprise for anything. Or the only way we'll have to be surprised by something completely different afterward that are wanting to have that. Is it's disappointing. There's cooking legit. I don't know. I'm trying my best here. Whoop. Pop. There we go. Okay. That's pretty good. Boop. So I have to do more, obviously. We'll have to have, because I think at the end here, I think Derpy around somewhere. Like the second thing she does is here she draws a letter at the doormat. So we'll have to do the same kind of trick again later on when we do the doormat drawing letter thing. Is that we'll have to add the letter here, and then we'll have to make sure it's in the same place again and then loop it around. So thankfully I have a good reference point for that. So boop, pop. Okay. Pop, pop, pop. And then we can get it in the exact same place again. Doing a little that. And then we can get the torso in the same place. Torso. By doing that again. How is that there? So that's going down. So we'll get in the middle and then it'll go back up. So we're pretty much just resetting her position back to where we were. Seeing that as a reference, I can get that back there. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. So that'll be boop. Okay, and then a little bit. There. Boop, boop, boop. The eyes. That's where it gets so complicated. Is that there's so many different parts to this that it's like, let's get this going. I'm not even playing with the hair physics either right now. I'm not trying to bother with that. Just trying to get basic bits. So boop, boop, boop. So it'll seem like it's from there. Okay. It's not perfect, but it's like, yeah, it's gonna be whoop. Okay. It's gonna be like that. Okay. Yeah. Video games are magic. It feels like they still are, but it's like everything's. They saw that like modern ones where it's like trying to be realistic and gritty, where it's like it's just overdone. I feel like the art style of realism is too boring. That is like, I don't want to see any more of that. That's why I like games like with Nintendo stuff, where it's like it's just fun to be fun. Like I love Splatoon; it's one of my favorite games. So it's like that kind of like just fun and like having it be magic of just like being more fun than. It's pretty at the same time. That also helps, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Yeah. My first game was Super Mario World. So like even then it was like these graphics are nice. So I didn't really have like Atari, you know, kind of graphics that, like grew up with. It's like I had SNES, and then like. How long would it be? 20? No. 10? 10 years later, I would have like a GameCube, so it's like, I missed like the 64 era. So it's like I immediately went from SNES to GameCube. So I was like, these graphics are great. I didn't have any of the clunky, you know, blocky GameCube or 64 aesthetic. I went straight to GameCube, so. I'm glad that happened. Where that really did help me really see like games could be really pretty. What am I saying? Trying to get this going so I can wrap this up so I can get going. Yeah, so it's like I never really liked the prediction stuff, so it's like I don't really have any things for you guys to like say like, oh, I bet Luigi's gonna be in Smash, you know? I like those kind of predictions where it's like, yeah, like the jokey ones where it's like, oh man, I think I heard a rumor that Mario will be in the next Smash Brothers. It's like, wow, you know, it's like, oh, that sounds cool. I hope so. Or it's just like, yeah. So I don't really have anything, you know. I'd rather not be disappointed in a way, more so than just being surprised by learning about it. So, I'd rather get that Christmas surprise more so than learning about that. Santa. Doesn't really always know what I want for Christmas. It's like, oh no. I think it's more fun to believe in Santa. So I like to. So I was like, Santa didn't give me what I wanted. So it feels like less, you know, to the parent that is like, oh, Santa didn't get it for me, so I don't have anyone to blame. Yeah, it's just like, oh, Santa didn't get it. So I have fun with that. And I was like, okay, maybe Santa will get it next time. When I was an adult, it's like, oh, why don't I just buy it? Like in January, it's like, oh, I'll just get it. Pop. Okay. It's real small on screen, so hopefully it'll win. Pop. She might need to like shrug it off or something, but it'll work. Because it'd be more concerned about what else is going on. I think we can almost end this kind of like right now. We can just have this as a backup thing. PS2. More games. Yeah. Yeah, so I never had a NES, so like I never really experienced stuff like that. This is actually trippy and messy. I suppose I get motion sickness. I'm learning that about myself, even though I didn't really know that before, but I think I'm getting it now. I feel like I'm moving, and I'm confused. Maybe Kogi can rub her head or something, but then she'll be like rubbing the other side of her head. So I don't know. Maybe she could like open her eyes later, something. I'm not sure. This is great so far. Pretty happy with this. Hello, Pop-Tart. Yeah, I think I'll just wrap this up. So next time we'll have to animate a little bit more than what we got. So there's 3-ish parts. So we got 1 travel. So next part, it looks like Scootaloo will be that part. For there, and then she'll have to quickly maybe just underhand another letter like real quick here. Or have Scootaloo boop. So we can have Scootaloo like enter around here, around a 4 second to make it a little quicker, and then this action could be quick. We'll have to play with that later. Because she has to like finish that all the way through and get back to normal. Boop. I'm so glad about that. I won't be here for long either. So let's wrap this up. Okay. Thank you guys. I'll go to my end. Thank you guys for watching. This is I know like the production seems to get quicker and quicker once we get into more of the actual production side. So thanks for sticking around for all this. It's slow going for the beginning, and then kind of picks up like gradually. That'll seem like it's almost done by next week or something. So yeah, thank you. Let's see. I like it too. Yeah, I have more fun when it's like just like actually animating things more than like freaking out of like all the technical bits of like, oh well, this is 270 frames. If I need to do this action, like, will this only take 250? What will I do for those only, 19 other frames? It's like, oh no. So instead of just worrying about that, or like figuring it out and then have a plan to just do it, just doing it is more fun. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think that's about it. We'll have another stream on Tuesday, hopefully at the same time. Yeah, we didn't talk about Kappa tonight. That's pretty good. Even though the comment thing ended yesterday. So hopefully by next time we might have more of a bigger discussion. But Kappa, again, this is where you get all the news from about that. So, anyway, I think that's about it, actually, because I kind of didn't have much else to really plug, really. Maybe by next week I'll have the commission that I talked about earlier that I almost got too close to, I didn't have time to really set up the stream too properly, or I didn't have time to have lunch today. So hopefully that commission project will be done by next week. Working on it for like a whole week yesterday. I worked on it for the whole week yesterday. I worked on it for the whole week last week. So that's been fun. It's for a relatively smallish YouTuber, I think. So I'm not sure if it's going to be super like visible. So glad I'm not doing it for exposure, because that wouldn't spread too far. But if the YouTuber wants me to shout them out or show it or something, I'll be I can show it to you guys. The actual animation itself is only like 5 seconds, but it's like trying to get that good is what I'm trying to work on. So we're almost done to that. So that's just like a weird side project that I've kind of getting into. The only other thing is that Folly of Celestia is actually on a weird, at least for me and my side, is like it's kind of on hold, I guess you could say, where it's kind of, we don't have the storyboards really to work on the next shot. So until like the actual storyboard either comes, well, we need a new one. So once that one comes in, it's able to make new boards for new things, then we can get back to it. So the other two animators that are working on it, they're working on older things that I'm able to have some notes and critiques about. So I'm able to work with it and like remember that I'm working on it as well. So that's about it for that. Oh, sorry, Ali. Alexander. How you doing? I think that's about it. Anything else would just be, if you want to check out my I can plug my socials in the description. You can check any of those. There hasn't been much in terms of that. Maybe I'll see if I can like retweet or something of my intro thing. That's what the short animation is, a YouTuber intro for like a big project or something that they're working on, but they want to, I guess the original version of that got deleted, or like wasn't too satisfied with how the original person worked on it, because the YouTuber had like an animator work on essentially what I worked on, but I guess they wanted to see if it's going to be cleaner if I do it or something better. Or, so YouTuber has much more creative control than I expected, where she's nitpicking everything in it. So hopefully it'll be good. That's what I was working on like for around an hour today. And I just got too close to stream time, so. Okay, I'm talking in circles. Okay, that's usually when to stop. I'm realizing that, so. Thank you guys. Hope you have a good rest of the week, and then we'll come back later on. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you then.